Hello my dear learners, how are you all? Welcome to online class with me Nusrat Alam, lecturer in English, Milestone College. I believe you all are fine, safe and sound and busy with your studies. Our today's online class is on description of graphs and charts, and in our today's class we will be discussing the kinds of graphs and charts, those who are popular ones, and how to write them in language. Because it is a very important topic which is discussed in English first paper containing 10 marks. So it's very important for us to score good marks over there. So my dear learners, I believe my today's class is going to help you a lot. So let's start. Well, my dear students, you might think that what is the use of a graph or chart in our life? Well, let me tell you. With the help of a graph and chart, we can show a lot of information or data in one small place. For example, the population growth rate of 10 years or between 20 years can be shown with the help of a small bar chart. Or the big issue, the distribution of budget, can be easily shown with the help of a pie chart. Not only that, in a cricket match, we can also see the use of line graph, which shows us the batting rate of both the teams as well. So this is very important and this is always present in our daily life as well. But in our exams, it is not our duty to draw or to place a graph, but the opposite. We have to describe the graph in language. Yes. This topic is dealt in English first paper in writing portion, question number 10, and the total mark of this question is also 10. So it's very important for us to score good marks and to write nicely in our exam papers if we want to get good marks over there. You might know that there are lots of varieties of graphs and charts. They are used in different purposes as well, but for us some certain kinds of graph charts are common, familiar, because we see them in television often or in our exam papers or books or newspapers. And the most common four graphs are: number one, bar chart. They are often called column charts as well, and they are often used to show birth rates in different years or passing rates in different years, because each column stands for in an individual information. A pie chart looks like this, and a pie chart considers one matter in the whole as 100%. For example, if a pie chart is about a family expenditure, the budget of family expenditure, then these sectors of expenses are shown in this way in different parts, and they are mostly shown in percentage. Number 3, line chart. Line charts are actually, it's a joint line of different data. It actually joins different information and shows the ups and downs, and it is often seen in matches, the ups and downs of different teams or some factories, the growth rate of their different products, etc. Number 4, Cartesian graph. Cartesian graph is mostly used in mathematics, so it is also very familiar to our students as well. So before describing a graph, please be careful that your description doesn't get boring or monotonous, because expressing or showing same kind of data again and again could be very boring for our readers or our listeners. So we have to be very choosy in picking up words. Our language should be interesting, and it should be sometimes highlighting some points, sometimes giving opinion about that point, etc. We have to arrange our description in such a way that it attracts our readers and the reader feels that the description is important to listen. We have taken a sample question, a sample graph from Dhaka Board 2017 to make you clear how to explain or how to write a graph chart description in our exam papers. So first of all, before start writing, let's go through the question first and read it carefully. Look at the chart. It shows the sources of USA electricity in 1980. That means the sources of electricity production in the USA, and the information has been taken from the year 1980. Now analyze the chart focusing the main aspect. We have to focus on the main aspects and we have to analyze the graph as well. That means not only to talk about them, but we have to analyze them. We have to judge the graph as well. So how to arrange my description of the graph, what to write at the beginning, what in the middle, and what at the last, we should also be very careful about that. While describing a graph or chart, take some key features in your mind, and remember, you don't need to recreate the whole graph in your exam paper because that is very time consuming. So don't bother doing that. And don't start your description abruptly. Add an introduction part to it and then start putting or highlighting the data. And some other features that you also have to keep in your mind are: mention the topic. You must mention the name of the topic the chart is all about at the beginning or in the introduction part. Name of the kind. Please mention what kind of chart. Is it a bar chart? Is it a pie chart or what? It is better to mention the name of the chart. Add a headline, which is optional. I prefer adding one line in this way. The description of the pie chart is given below. It is totally optional, but if you prefer, you can add a headline like that. But you are not going to write it on the top of your copy. Just from one side you have to start writing that. Write in 3 paras. It is really good to see graphs described in 3 paras because we always have 3 parts: one introduction part, the main body, and the summarizing part or the concluding part. So it is really good, or nowadays we teach our students to write their descriptions in that way. Highlight the data. The data that are provided in the chart or graph must be highlighted in our description. Please don't skip any single of them. Utilize them properly to make your description important, significant, and interesting. Summarize at the end. Whatever you have discussed in the whole description, you must summarize that the whole chart or the informations of the chart at the end. For example, if as our pie chart is all about electricity production or the electricity supply in the USA, you must mention the highest contributing part or the highest production source or the lowest source or the main sources who contribute the most in the electricity production of the USA. Or to show a good presentation, it is better to write the description of a graph or a chart in 3 paras. And these 3 paras have their different individual characteristics. For example, in our first para or at the beginning of a description of a graph chart, we must talk about what kind of chart is it. Is it a pie chart or column chart or what? Take the name of that chart and then what does it shows? What is the topic of that chart or the presentation of that chart? We have to talk about that as well. In next para, we have to focus on the main points or the data provided by the chart or graph elaborately, and we have to highlight them, the informations as well. And finally, in third para or at the end of our description, we should talk about the whole summary of the description. How can we summarize the description? We have to talk about that in our last portion of the description of graph chart. So here, for your better understanding, I have prepared the description of this pie chart, and let us go through that for your better understanding. You can clearly notice that there are 3 different parts of this description, and the first one has been used to introduce the chart with the readers. What kind of chart is it? What is it about all? everything has been introduced in this first para. In second para, all the information or data that the pie chart has provided us, we have described them elaborately. And in last one, we have focused on the main points, or we have summarized the description in our last or third para. So whenever you are describing your graph or chart, please remember to separate them into three paras and to characterize them each para in the same way that I have shown you here. Now we are going to go through line to line so that how are you going to write in your exam, that becomes very clear to you. My dear students, never forget to write answer to the question number because it's very important for you. Writing on the top of your copy the question number, start your graph chart description or pie chart description in this way. The pie chart shows the contribution of 5 main sources of electricity production in the USA in 1980. The data of different sources has been shown in percentage. Well, in this part, what have I done? Please check out. I have taken the name of the chart. What kind of chart is it? It is a pie chart. And what is it about? It is about the sources of electricity production in the USA. And when the data has been taken from which year? It has been taken from 1980. And how the informations have been given? Are they in number or are they in percentage? I have also talked about that. It means after seeing a chart or graph, what comes in front of your eyes without any further or deeper explanation, what just come in front of you, just go through that. Inform or place those information in front of your reader. That is the first job of the introduction portion or the first part of our graph chart description. In the second para, all the key features that the graph or chart presents, they have to be highlighted and described over here as well. So let's see what have I written here for our pie chart description. The 5 main sources which contributed to the total electricity production were oil, coal, nuclear, natural gas, and hydroelectric power. Here, my dear students, please notice that if you match with the picture of our pie chart, you can see all these sources names were present over there. The highest contribution came from coal and it was almost half of the total production. To be exact, 46% of the total production. The second highest contributor was natural gas and it contributed 24% of the total production. The third highest contribution came from hydroelectric power, 16%. Then came oil and its contribution was only 12%. The production of electricity from nuclear source was very little that time, it was 2% only. My dear students, please consider that I haven't missed any single information that the pie chart has given us, and the biggest contributors have been highlighted over there. Placing them at the beginning, I have highlighted them, and the total description of the data given in pie chart has been described here clearly. In the last and third para, we are going to summarize the whole description that we already have talked about. There is nothing new here, but this part is very important because without this, your writing is not going to end well. Here, we have to focus on the main focal points. For example, what I have written, please check out. So from the above description, we can say that in 1980, the production of electricity in the USA was fully dependent on coal and natural gas, covering 70% of total production, and the contribution of nuclear energy was less that time. You must have seen that 70% comes from the contribution of coal and natural gas together. So these two contributors were the major sources of electricity, and I have highlighted their contribution here. So don't forget to focus on the main focal points, and please keep in your mind while you are describing your graph in your examination. My dear learners, I believe that with the help of our today's online class, you would be able to describe any graph or chart that comes in your way successfully and efficiently. Please remember, don't make your description boring or monotonous. Think again, be choosy in picking up words and make it interesting for your reader. With the hope of your better health and better education, I, Nusrat Alam, is going to end our today's class here. See you some other time. Bye bye.